Hello and welcome back to my channel where I navigate two worlds, the book world and the audio drama world. Actually, I got into the book world because of the podcasting slash audio drama world. Actually, I have been writing since I was younger, but I kind of fell out of it because of life and, just things going on. And then I found my stories that I have written when I was younger. As I would found those, I started making them into scripts because I fell in love with audio dramas after listening to some of them, and I figured I could make my stories into audio dramas in some way because I was writing screenplays as like a hobby after work, all that other stuff. And some of my screenplays I did actually turn into audio drama scripts, which was terrible. it's So I am going to be throughout these videos, I'm pretty much going to be navigating those, talking about my time in those. So I guess in a way, this is going to be like a vlog, but we're not just going to be talking about the things I wish I would have known, like my last video and this video. We're going to be talking about things that are great, things that are working. You're going to follow me as I fix some things, as I put things together. And hopefully, I'm going to be able to help you along on your journey if you decide to start doing this, if you want to ask me questions or anything along those lines. So, as I mentioned in my last video, I just released my book, Prophecies, The Last Lights of Avalon, in March. Yeah, in March. And that book is connected to my audio drama, Out of the Ashes. Now, I started the audio drama first, and let me tell you, it was absolutely terrible. Like I said earlier, I just did not know what was going on with it. So when I started making audio dramas, I thought, oh, well, I have these stories and I have these scripts that I wrote for movies. I'll just make them into audio. It won't be that hard. That's what I was thinking. It won't be that hard. But man, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. There is a difference from writing for the screen and writing for the ears. And after learning that, I found out writing is only the beginning. And after producing multiple fiction podcasts, I've learned some lessons the hard way. Lessons that would have saved me like months of frustration. So, if you're looking or thinking about creating your first audio drama, here are 5 things I wish someone had told me before I started doing podcasting and audio fiction and anything else that has to do with just the ear. So, number one, writing the script is only about 20% of the work. Like I said earlier, I wrote scripts. They were decent. I was in groups. We critiqued each other, and but they weren't scripts for audio. They were scripts for movie. So when I wrote these scripts, I thought, let me just transition them into audio dramas because making movies is expensive. Even if you're going to do it like independently on a micro budget, especially in the economy and the world and all this other stuff, prices keep going up. So it just becomes even more money. But then you think about audio, and at first, when I thought about audio, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be easier. I can just, get a couple actors, friends, people who want to, try out acting, get the microphones, work it out so that way we can, show our skills in some way. And so we did it. I got the script. I just said, here's the script. I didn't do any changes to it. It was the straight screenplay, just taking it and then making it into an audio drama, which is a huge mistake. Um, but after doing that, we're just going to put that to the side for now because we're going to come back to that. But thinking about the work that goes into making an audio drama, it's not just about the script and actors. Like, you have to think about the casting. You have to think about directing the actors. A good director is very important because when you're thinking about the script and when you have your actors acting the roles out, you have to make sure their intonations or like the way that they're talking, whispering, is portraying what it is that you want to portray in that scene. Because everything has to do with their voice. So the slightest intonation or the slightest way that they say it or the speed that they say it or the pauses that they have in there have to be important, have to be, on point for that scene to hit home. All right. Editing. The editing is also a part of it. Sound design, music, marketing, social media, cover art, distribution. Creating, this is one thing, this is something I absolutely learned as I've been doing this. Creating an audio drama is running a small production company. Now, if you're able to have friends who believe in you and they can see the vision, and you may not have to pay them, maybe you guys are going to do like a profit split. Help is going to be something huge for you. So if you can find people who want to help you along the way, this is going to be a huge thing. But it creating an audio drama is running a small production company. So if you're going to do this, be easy on yourself. That's one thing I had an issue with. I was very hard on myself. I wanted to get everything perfectly. It just wasn't working out. I didn't set realistic deadlines. Do not set unrealistic deadlines. Don't push yourself too hard. Take it easy and try to enjoy each and every aspect of what you're doing. Because if you stop enjoying it, then it starts becoming more of like a job that you hate going to, as opposed to like a hobby that you love doing. And that's going to stop you from pushing yourself forward and promoting it and talking to people and helping them love what you're doing as well. All right. So, number two is finish the story before you release episode one. Now, this is more of an opinion. Uh, I feel like it is one of those things that will help you along the way. Many creators like to, or many beginner creators like to write week to week, especially if you're doing an audio drama. Now, the problem with that is that it creates, or it could create, plot holes. It also could create burnout, especially if you're doing week to week and you're trying to release each episode week to week as well. If you're trying to write it and then record it and then edit it and then market it, all of that is going to create burnout because you're only giving yourself that week to knock it all out and uh, to make sure that you're talking and staying engaged with your audience. All of that can be too much. Like, it might be okay in the first month, 2 months, but you will start feeling it after a while. Hiatuses can also be a problem because you are not showing up for your audience. If you get people who love what you're doing and then all of a sudden you're gone for like 3 weeks and then try to come back, you tend to lose your audience. And then also doing week to week can also create an inconsistent quality. Whereas if you finish the season, it lets you foreshadow everything that's going to be coming up within your episodes. It also lets you edit earlier episodes if you feel like you want to go back and you've learned, how to do this in your editing or how to do that in your sound design. And you just want to like tweak it, remix and remaster it. It allows you to go back and do that because you're working ahead. You've already got like 3, 4 episodes ahead, so you can go back and do that. Also, it allows you to maintain a release schedule. That is important. Like we said earlier, if you go on a hiatus, then you tend to lose your audience because that inconsistency, they don't know when you're going to come back. Now, I've seen people who do work week to week, and it works out for them. Most of the time, it is just them. It is just their show, and they're the only actor there, and and it works for them. It works for them, which is fine. You can do week to week. What I would say is, if you can, try to outline your show. This is just in case you need to take a week off for any reason. This will allow you to come back and not be lost with where you left off at in your show. Um, and then also, if you're going to do things like that, and let's say you have like a Patreon or you have a social media, just try to make sure you communicate that with your audience. Most of the time, I've noticed in the audio drama world, your audience is very sympathetic. They understand that you have a life, and if they love your show, they are going to stay around and support you, no matter what's going on. They understand we're human, we got things to do. So, number three, sound design should support the story, not replace it. All right, audio drama is about telling a story and having the listener be immersed in the story. And beginners often seem to think more sound effects equals better. Actually, too many sound effects confuse your listeners. Silence is powerful. One sound is powerful. Two sounds, one sound coming from the left ear, one sound coming from the right ear is powerful. If you try to put like three, four sounds together and they're both blasting in both ears, then it becomes jumbled, especially if both of those sounds or all of those sounds are trying or competing for like the same wavelength or the same decibels where they're at. Like if you have deep footsteps and then you have a deep drone and then you have deep whispering, all of that is going to be competing with each other. So understand that too many sound effects may confuse your listeners. Another thing I will say is that silence is powerful. Like I said earlier, like I had a scene in my show Out of the Ashes where the characters thought they heard something while they were walking through a sewer, and then they stopped to listen. Now, when that happened, I cut out all of the sounds, not just to let the character listen, but to allow the listeners, the people on the end who were had their headphones in, to join in on the listening. This allows them to be immersed into the scene and try their hardest to hear something in the background, something like a footstep or a drop or something like that. Now in this scene, what was happening was they were going to help a town with zombies that were raised by a person who could raise the dead, and from there they thought they were afraid that zombies had gotten into the store. So when they heard something or thought they heard something from far away in the store, they stopped. They were worried. They listened, and like I said, I cut all of the sounds to allow everyone, not just the characters, but everyone to listen with them to see if they could hear something. So that is a case where silence is powerful. uh, Also, dialogue. Like I said before, when I did my scripts, it was for the screenplay. And I didn't really understand the nuances that went into not just doing a screenplay, but doing a script for audio, which is completely different. Uh, Dialogue plays into sound design as well. Uh, Dialogue should always be clear. One thing that I always do now that I had to learn the hard way again is write more than I may need. Like the old saying goes, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And that has been very crucial to me now because there's been plenty times in the second season, because in the first season of Out of the Ashes, I missed a lot of those opportunities, and I just was not going to go back, write the script, have the actors go back, do all that again. So I just remixed and remastered the first season. But in the second season of Out of the Ashes, I wrote more than I needed. And so as I'm editing those dialogues, I'm listening to it, I'm listening back, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't need this line. But then there's been times where I was writing the show, and then I listened back to it after I got the lines back from the actors, and then I realized, oh, I like this line here. I didn't think I would have it or like it, but I'm going to keep this one in. And it allows you to play with it a little bit more, especially if your actors are saying it right, or portraying the feeling that they're getting, that they're supposed to be portraying in this scene right. um, Another thing, every sound should have a purpose. Now, when I am sound designing, I think about all the things I would hear in that scene. In whatever scene that you're trying to put together, you should think about what it is in that scene that would make that scene feel like it is real. Uh, for example, if I'm working on a scene where the characters are walking down a busy street, I may hear cars driving by randomly. But what comes with those cars driving by randomly? You got to think about, oh, when a car speeds by me, there would be a wind gust, and that wind gust would come and then it would go as it's passing. So you got to think about maybe like crescendoing the sound and then lowering it as they're walking. Also, does this busy road have cable posts? Because some cable posts, when you're walking by them, you may hear like a buzz, like electrical buzz coming from those cable posts. So as they're walking by them, you may hear that. Also, is the side of the road gravel? If it's gravel, then that's going to change the footsteps that your characters are doing as they're walking down that side of the road. Or if it's just a road, like the road that the cars are driving on, then those footsteps are going to be completely different from the gravel. So you got to make sure it makes sense for your story. If you have a horror show or like a thriller or something like that, it may sound a little more it may give it a little more ambiance if it's like a gravel, because then you can hear those footsteps, and it then you might be able to hear the footsteps behind that person. Maybe it's sliding feet. It's a zombie, so the feet are sliding a bit or something along those lines. A good question to ask is, does this effect tell the audience something they couldn't learn any other way? It's not just the dialogue that does this, it is the sounds that does this as well. So again, the effect, does it tell the audience something they couldn't have learned from any other, dialogue or effect in any way there? All right. So number 4, I would say, is that marketing starts before the show launches. Many people think I will release the show first and then market it. Instead, you should think about marketing it before you get into releasing the show. This helps you build anticipation. You can also share like concept art. You can do one thing I would suggest is like behind the scenes content. Since you don't really have anything yet and you're just starting it, especially if you're in pre-production for your show, do like, oh look guys, I finished the script, content for that, or I'm with this actor, I'm with that actor, oh, me and the sound designer are here doing this, something along those lines. Now, if you've already worked with actors and you have gotten the lines in, one thing I would suggest is take the script and take like a highlighter and mark in your script lines that you feel like would do good for a trailer. Something that can tell the story of what your show is about and kind of like put those together for a trailer. Uh, these you can share everywhere and always direct people to when you share other things. I think the trailer is probably one of the ultimate ways to promote your show because you can always direct people to your trailer through everything. Everything. Not only does it build anticipation, but when you share concept art, you can that concept art can be, oh, now listen to my trailer, especially if you're putting it on social media. Like, say, let's say you have concept art on your trailer, then in your bio, it's just here, listen to the trailer now. Behind the scenes content. Oh, I'm with this actor. Listen to this actor in the trailer here. And that trailer draws them in, especially with the sound design and everything. When that all comes together, that will draw people in to listen to your show or anticipate, building that anticipation for your show. It also introduces the characters. And then, so when you start doing all those things, especially if you have your trailer out and you got people to listen to it and you're building that hype, now build your email list. That email list is going to be crucial. It's going to keep people engaged and it's going to let them know that you're here for the long run and you're here for them to show them that you are building a community that builds not just that email list but your social media audience. If you're going to do like Patreon or Ko-fi or whatever it is like that, then that helps you in the long run to make sure that your audience shows up for those things. Um, so I think the biggest thing to take away from that with the marketing is that a great show without listeners is still invisible. All right. So make sure you're getting out there and sharing. I mean, you're doing all of this work. So you want people to see it, obviously. So make sure you're getting out there and sharing your work. That is huge to know. And that's one thing, like I said, I didn't really understand at first. But now with this second show, the hunting season I'm putting out there, I am everywhere. Everywhere with this show. And I'm going to do the same thing for the third season of Out of the Ashes. I am going to be everywhere with this show, like I am with my book, Prophecies, The Last Lights of Avalon. That book, I am everywhere. I am making sure I have a copy with me at all times. Whenever I talk about Out of the Ashes, I'm talking about Prophecies, The Last Light of Avalon. When I'm talking about Prophecies, The Last Light of Avalon, I am directing people to my audio drama company, Unknown Squared, where I say, hey, listen to my show too. Like I said, the first season, yeah, could use a little work. I did actually do a remix and remaster of episode 0, and I put the trailer up, which I didn't have for a while. And I am going to do episode 1 as well, but all of that's going to have to come as it comes. But season 2 did much better with that. And then, like I said, I'm just going to keep getting better with it. That's all I can do. Now, the fifth and final, but definitely not the least, is consistency beats perfection every single time. Every single time. Believe me when I say this, your first episode won't be perfect. Even if you have all of the things in line, you have a whole team behind you, you're working on that, you're going to go back and listen to that first episode after you finish that first season, and you're going to say to yourself, oh, I wish I would have wrote this in the script, or I wish I would have did this sound design instead, or how did we miss this part? This part sounds, like we could have tweaked this a little bit better or something like that. um Again, first episode won't be perfect, but it will be perfect for that time. But neither will your 10th. You're going to go back. You're always going to go back and listen to past episodes and think about how you could have done better. It is okay. All right. The creators who succeed aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who keep publishing. They're the ones who keep learning. They're the ones who keep pushing themselves to improve. And they're the ones who keep learning that they need to do this later down the road to publish an episode to make it the way that they wanted to make it and make it sound better than that first episode that they put out a while ago. All right. As long as you're learning, you're winning. Every episode teaches you something new. Make sure that you learn whatever it is and apply it to your future projects. That's all it is. That is what this is. That is what it is in life. That is what it is in everything that you're doing. That is what it is even now. Like that first episode, like I said, I went back and tweaked and remastered, remixed and remastered episode 0. I'm doing episode 1, all of that. And then even now, I finished season 2. I listened to season 2, episode 1 and 2, and I was like, oh man, I could have did this better. But it's always going to be that. So, I'm not going to always go back and, try to fix things. You just have to take it for what it is and understand that this is a journey. All right. You're going to do better next time. So that was the 5, but I kind of feel like as I'm sitting here thinking, there is like a bonus lesson that I learned that I want to share, I guess. And that lesson is I wish I would have started sooner. That's not really a lesson, but it's like a feeling, I guess. I would say if you're thinking about starting a podcasting journey or starting an audio drama journey, don't wait until your equipment is perfect. Don't wait until your script is flawless. And don't wait until you feel ready. All of those things just kind of like inhibit your mind. It stops you from progressing, especially in not just in audio drama and podcasting, in life. Don't wait until all those things fall into line. With this, you'll improve by making the show, not by endlessly preparing. That is the inhibitor. It stops you from doing these things. All right. So I guess I would like to leave you with like this. Audio dramas are one of these most rewarding creative projects you can make. You get to combine writing with acting, music, sound design, and storytelling into something people can experience with nothing more than a pair of headphones. So if you're thinking about starting one, I hope these lessons that I had to learn the hard way will help you and save you some of the mistakes that I made. So if you're thinking, if you're making an audio drama or even thinking about starting one, what is your biggest question? Let me know below in the comments. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. And maybe I'll make it into like a future video and maybe it'll help somebody else out there. All right. So thank you for joining me today. Like I said, I hope these 5 things that I wish that I knew helps someone out there, helps you out there. Again, if you have questions, leave them down in the comments. If you are interested in my book that is connected to my audio drama, Out of the Ashes, if you're interested in the book Prophecies, The Last Light of Avalon, book 1, then that will also be in the comments, not in the comments, in the about part, and you can click on that and purchase book 1. Book 2 will be out later in the year, and then the book, like I said before in the last video, I believe the book is part of the show because it's like a prequel to season 3. But anyway, again, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.